In the vast expanse of the Imperium, from the lowly guardsmen to the revered angels of death, every weapon wielded by the faithful serves as a bulwark against the encroaching shadows of oblivion, pushing back the tides of humanity's demise. Amidst the myriad servants of the Emperor, one group stands out, a beacon of unyielding righteousness. They are the daughters of the Emperor, the Adepta Sororitas, epitomes of purity and embodiments of the Emperor's divine vision. Theirs is a calling marked by fervent piety and unshakable resolve, their souls ablaze with the righteous fire of faith in the Emperor's name. Their voices rise in hymns of battle, a chorus of fury that strikes fear into the hearts of heretics and traitors alike. Ascending to the pinnacle of power as a High Lord of Terra, Gouge Vandire's ambition knew no bounds. He nurtured a relentless desire to seize the throne for himself, hungering for dominion over the Imperium. Thus dawned the era of the Reign of Blood, a dark chapter in the chronicles of humanity. The echoes of conflict reverberated across the stars, heralding the onset of the bloodiest civil strife since the dark days of the Horus Heresy. To wage such a war, Vandire required an army of unwavering faith and battle-hardened resolve, a legion of warriors whose devotion to the Emperor burned brighter than the stars themselves. And so, his gaze fell upon the agri-world of Sanleor, a realm teeming with fervent zealots who had pledged their lives to the service of the Master of Mankind. Within the hallowed confines of a secluded convent, the daughters of the Emperor dwelled. Cloistered away from the prying eyes of the galaxy, they honed their skills at arms with a single-minded purpose: to stand as pillars against the encroaching darkness, to smite the enemies of the Emperor with righteous fury. Beseeching the sisters for a chance to tread upon their sacred soil, Vandire was granted entry into the hallowed grounds of the convent. With solemn words, he declared himself as the mouthpiece of the Master of Mankind, swearing upon his life that any falsehoods uttered would seal his own demise. In a display of audacious theatrics, he commanded Alicia Dominica, a member of the convent, to unleash her laser pistol upon him. As the searing beam struck his chest, a blinding cascade of divine light enveloped his form, leaving him unscathed. He proclaimed himself as the vessel through which the Emperor's will flowed. In a moment of reverence and unquestioning loyalty, they knelt before him, pledging their fealty to the newly anointed High Lord. Little did the daughters realize the depths of deception in Vandire's grand charade. Concealed within the sacred artifact he brandished was an energy field projector, which protected him from the initial blast. As a result of this grand scheme, the daughters now deceptively served as his personal bodyguards. Their enhanced training and armaments would prove invaluable in dispensing his judgment upon his enemies. In the turbulent years that followed, the Reign of Blood plunged the Imperium into chaos and despair. Innocent lives were snuffed out through ruthless executions and cruel imprisonments. Amidst the darkness, Fabricator General Gastef Hediatrix emerged as a beacon of hope, rallying the High Lords of Terra against Vandire's tyrannical rule. But his bold defiance only stoked the flames of Vandire's wrath. In a twisted decree, Vandire branded both the mechanicus of Mars and the revered Space Marines as heretics and traitors, shattering the fragile unity of the Imperium. The Emperor's angels, guardians of honor and duty, could not abide such slander against their name. They marshaled their formidable strength to confront his tyranny. With a thunderous roar, the drop pods hurtled towards the palace, their sleek forms slicing through the atmosphere like avenging angels descending upon the mortal realm. The Space Marines anticipated facing only the Fraternus Templar, bracing themselves for the clash of armored warriors. But as the drop pods cracked open, there stood not only the expected Templars, but also the formidable daughters of the Emperor, their presence a surprise. Clad in resplendent power armor adorned with symbols of devotion, the daughters wielded bolters that crackled with divine wrath. Caught off guard by the unexpected resistance, the Space Marines found themselves ensnared in a deadly dance of combat. Despite their superhuman strength and skill, the Space Marines suffered losses at the hands of their steadfast adversaries, each fallen brother a testament to the ferocity of the struggle. Amidst the turmoil, Longinus, the custodian guard, with purposeful strides, sought out Alicia Dominica and her valiant sisters. Together, they embarked on a pilgrimage to the Golden Throne, the sacred seat of the Emperor himself. What transpired within the hallowed chambers remains veiled in secrecy. Emerging from the presence of the divine, Alicia Dominica and her sisters carried themselves with a quiet resolve, their hearts aflame with a fury that smoldered beneath their stoic facades. They entered the audience chamber, and Alicia denounced Vandaire as a heretic and traitor, his sins laid bare before the eyes of the Emperor. With a single stroke, she cleaved through the darkness that had shrouded the Imperium, the echo of her blade ringing out like a clarion call of redemption. The High Lord's reign had ended. However, the Adepta Sororitas demonstrated remarkable prowess in their engagements against the Emperor's Space Marines. Under the leadership of Alicia Dominica, a new chapter in the history of the Sisters of Battle was about to unfold. Witnessing their untapped potential to wield the Emperor's righteous fury, the Sisters of Battle were ordained as the militant arm of the Ministorum, heralding the dawn of a new era. In their wars of faith, they forged orders within their ranks, guided by the wisdom gained from their encounter with the Master of Mankind. With veteran sisters by their side, they vowed vengeance against those who had exploited the turmoil of conflict, aliens, mutants, and heretics alike. With hearts ablaze and purpose unyielding, the Sisters of Battle embarked on a crusade to reclaim humanity's dominion over the stars, reminiscent of the glorious days of the Great Crusade. Their righteous fervor confounded the enemies of the Imperium, unleashing a force unparalleled in its might. Through their unrelenting battles, the Sisters achieved countless triumphs against the ruinous powers, each fallen member immortalized as a martyr to their holy cause. Their valiant sacrifice elevated them to the status of saints, their names revered in the founding orders that bore witness to their glory. Within the ranks of the Battle Sisters, a fluidity exists, allowing individual sisters to move between orders as needed. Their diverse talents, honed through countless battles or tempered by the scars of war, ensure a flexible force capable of adapting to any challenge that may arise. Amidst this dynamic environment, unique squad formations take shape, each honed to perfection to vanquish the enemies of the Imperium. At the forefront stand the command squads, comprised of the finest warriors drawn from the elite ranks of the Sisterhood. They are the razor's edge against the encroaching darkness, entrusted with the sacred duty of safeguarding relics and artifacts of immense value to their order. These relics may include the bones of ancient imperial saints or icons once wielded by the Master of Mankind himself. Occasionally, these warriors are joined by sisters from non-militant orders such as the Orders Dialogues or Orders Hospitaller, their diverse skills complementing the martial prowess of their battle-hardened peers. Whether through the power of oratory, the healing touch of medical expertise, or other invaluable talents, these specialists stand ready to support their sisters. Among the Sisters of Battle, the Sisters Repentia bear the heaviest burden, their path one of relentless penance. Straying from the righteous path of the Sororitas' creed, these repentant souls face harsh punishments, their transgressions often leading to exile from their order. Cloaked in nothing but tattered rags and shrouded by a crimson hood, they charge into battle with their fervor, and the deadly eviscerator chainswords clutched in their hands. On the unforgiving fields of war, they face their trials without the protection of armor or armaments. Guided by the stern hand of a mistress of repentance, at the conclusion of battle, they assess each sister's deeds, judging their worthiness to seek redemption for their sins in the eyes of their fellow warriors. Amidst the solemn halls of the Schola Progenium, only the most devout souls, their hearts burning with zealous fervor for the imperial cult, were deemed worthy of ascension into the revered ranks of a Sisters of Battle. Under the watchful gaze of the Emperor's chosen, aspirants from distant corners of the Imperium embarked on a pilgrimage fraught with trials. Regardless of birthplace or lineage, each aspirant was thrust into frontline combat training, the cacophony of clashing blades and the scent of scorched metal permeating the air. Bound by solemn vows sworn upon the Emperor's name, they emerged as warriors. Standing tall in the hallowed Great Hall of the convent, beneath towering arches adorned with the sacred sigils of the ecclesiarchy, aspirants would await their moment of judgment. Taking up to several solar days to conclude with the induction of thousands of novices, each sister's name would be announced with their appointment to their order, before beginning further training to ensure they reach their full potential. Many militant orders stand steadfast, their banners unfurled in defiance against the encroaching darkness of the ruinous powers and the vile scum that festers within the galaxy's shadows. Bound by a sacred covenant, these orders are allies to the Inquisitor witch hunters. They perceive themselves as conduits of the Emperor's divine will, entrusted with the solemn duty to be his instruments of judgment. They trust in the righteousness of their cause, believing that the Emperor's divine plan unfolds with each fallen sister, each martyr, a beacon of hope. Among these ranks, the Order of the Ebon Chalice stands as a pillar of light, a legacy of their primogenitor, Saint Alicia Dominica. For millennia, they have waged war against the tides of chaos, their sacrifices etched in blood. Their trials, more grueling than the Forge's fiery embrace, sift through the souls of the chosen few, purging doubt and weakness with a cleansing flame. Through trials, both physical and spiritual, they forge themselves into weapons of divine retribution. Clad in the sacred colors of the original Daughters of the Emperor, the Sisters of the Ebon Chalice march to battle as shields of faith against the ruinous powers. The Order of the Bloody Rose was formed in memory of Saint Mina's divine wrath. Born amidst the tumultuous storms of the 38th millennium, they are disciples of violence. Their armor, a canvas of blood red, stark against the purity of black and white, stands as a symbol of their madness. When faced with the champions of heresy, their eyes burn with an infernal glow. Tears of blood streak down their cheeks as they are suffused with divine speed and pious hatred, their every movement a symphony of destruction. In stark contrast, amidst the shadows of remorse, the Order of the Valorous Heart stands in the wake of St. Lucia's legacy. Born as an order for repentance, they are haunted by the specter of past sins, a weight that hangs heavy upon their shoulders. Accomplices to the High Lord of Terra's heresy during the dark days of the Age of Apostasy, they bear the burden of their sisterhood's betrayal. Their ranks swell with sisters repentia, their flesh bared to the elements, their every strike a penance for past transgressions. Wary of false prophets and heretical whispers, they scour the galaxy in search of redemption. Amidst the ranks of the Adepta Sororitas, not all find solace in the art of war. There are those who seek a different path, a path illuminated not by the fires of battle, but by the gentle glow of faith. The Orders Hospitaller emerge as beacons of mercy. They traverse the war-torn landscapes and the serene halls of hospitals, tending to the wounded and sick with hands that have felt the heat of battle. To encounter a Hospitaller is to witness the embodiment of the Emperor's compassion, their eyes reflecting the pain and hope of those they tend to. In contrast, the Order's Famulus stand as stoic sentinels of tradition and duty. Their purpose is the maintenance of order within the ranks of the faithful. With meticulous precision, they keep watch over the genealogical lineage of imperial families, their records serving as a testament to the purity of bloodlines and observing signs of mutation or corruption. Their duty is to enforce the will of the Emperor should any deviation from his divine decrees be detected. Among the prestigious ranks of the Sororitas, the Order's Dialogus stand as conduits of communication. Through the labyrinth corridors of diplomacy and intrigue, they navigate with the grace of scholars and the cunning of diplomats. Behind their scholarly pursuits lies a hunger for knowledge, a thirst to unravel the mysteries of Xenos texts and artifacts, to delve into the depths of alien cultures and unearth their secrets for the greater glory of the Imperium. The Adepta Sororitas were second in strength to only the Space Marines and the Adeptus Custodes. Their arsenal, adorned with bolters, multi-melters, and flamers, whispered tales of purging holy flames that licked away the shadows of heresy, leaving naught but ashes in their wake. Yet unlike their battle brothers in hulking power armor, the Battle Sisters could not meld seamlessly with their protective shells. Devoid of the gene seed and the organ implants of the Space Marines, they remained tethered to their armor as an ally rather than an extension of their being. Nevertheless, the armor they bore, born amidst the fiery heart of Mars, was a marvel of craftsmanship. Light as a feather, yet sturdy as adamantium, it wrapped around its wearer like a second skin, offering protection against the deadliest of blows. It was a symbiosis of strength and mobility, akin to the revered armor of high-ranking inquisitors. Every sister carries a bolt gun, personally blessed by the canoness of her order. When initiates ascend to the rank of battle sister, they receive this revered weapon. These bolt guns are esteemed as cherished heirlooms and are meticulously maintained. Meanwhile, the elite seraphim descend with weapons ablaze. Armed with inferno pistols and hand flamers, their jump packs propel them towards the fray, echoing the graceful descent of avenging angels, leaving trails of destruction in their wake. In close quarters, the Sisters of Battle wield a myriad of melee weapons, each designed for swift and deadly strikes. Neural whips crackle with electric energy, lashing out with precision. Power swords gleam in the dim light, their edges keen and hungry for the enemy's flesh. Storm shields, emblazoned with the sigils of faith, provide steadfast defense against incoming blows. But it is the Praesidium Protectiva shields that draw awe and reverence. Crafted with small fragments of armor worn by the master of mankind himself, these shields are reserved for the most senior ranks. The Adepta Sororitas channel their faith in the God Emperor to carry out his divine will throughout the cosmos. Driven by righteousness, they are resolute in their mission to purify the unclean, committed to fighting in his name for eternity. Despite their tumultuous origins and manipulations, they have unequivocally demonstrated the righteousness of their cause to eradicate evil in the name of the Master of mankind. This concludes today's chapter from the archives. Please like and subscribe if you want more. Leave a comment on which chapter we should reveal from the archives next.